Florian. Hey, congratulations for the Magic Flute.
Thank you very much.
What sparked you to adapt Mozart's The Magic Flute onto, the big screen like what you're doing here?
I think, well, my love for classical music, because when I was 10 or roughly 9 or 10, I saw Amadeus for the first time, and that's when I really fell in love with Mozart's music and started playing, violin and bassoon and stuff like that. I have an Asian mom, so she was quite supportive there and thought, okay, that's great if the boy learns violin. And that love always stayed with me for classical music. And then when the producers approached me, I thought, yeah, probably that's a really good moment, because the Magic Flutes actually is a fantasy story. It's like Big Snake and Evil Queen and things like that. And fantasy is mainstream now. It used to be nerd, let's say in the 80s and 90s, but fantasy is now there. Like my parents watch Game of Thrones, and they know what a dragon is and all that stuff. And I thought, okay, that's actually a really good moment. Maybe that's the moment where you could make a movie out of that and actually entertain people with things that they know, because opera is a difficult art form, and it's something people are not scared of, but if they don't have to go there, they just don't, because don't know how to approach it. It's difficult to get tickets, what you wear, it's all, everybody's so serious, nobody's having fun. So I thought, okay, you need elements in that film that are easy accessible.
So how did you come to the decision to do the Magic Flute into two separate worlds, rather than it's just straight up exactly like the opera, but you wanted to introduce sort of like the reality of a music school at the same time, going back and forth between the two worlds?
Yeah, I think so. It all started when I started working on the original libretto and realized that the story of the Magic Flute opera starts really nicely. Like, there's a call to action, there's a prince, there's a save a princess, but then it kind of starts getting weird, and there's like an hour in that opera where basically nothing happens and just old men sing, and you don't really understand what's going on. And I thought, okay, that's probably not going to be a great movie. And on the other hand, I knew, okay, maybe it would be good to have a story element that everybody can agree on, like something like a boarding school, something that's in Austria where Mozart comes from, but people know visually from things like, let's say, Sound of Music, that reminds them, and that slowly brings them into that feel for music, into that musical movie format, and then we can introduce the opera to them. And that was the first approach. And that kind of, made sense. We talked to people and they all said, yeah, it would be a nice gateway into the opera story.
Tell us about recreating the music, recreating the opera into your film. Was that a challenge?
Oh, absolutely. Because there's always the question, do you first shoot and then perform, or what do you record first? And how do you actually stay true to the music? And in that case, Mozart music is like, you have a range of an audience. They're like the super experts. They can listen to the same symphony, can tell you that's a recording from the 60s from that orchestra, and that's a recording from here and there. And then people who just know the melody, basically. So, and finding the right balance there, so to stay true to the music. And from the very beginning, I wanted to have the support of the Mozart Association, so that and we're the first movie they ever support, because I thought, okay, because one side of me said, like, how dare you think you're in the position to interpret Mozart? That's, who are you to do that? So I thought, okay, I need some backing on the movie side. I knew, okay, I have my shooting experience. I have Roland Emmerich standing behind me, who trusts in me, who puts a lot of money in that thing. So that's fine. But I wanted to have the same on the music side. And that I managed to do that with the Mozarteum, so that they also helped me and gave me some recommendations where to go and how to actually interpret things.
Now the fantastical sets in this film are amazing. How did you basically craft everything, put everything together? I mean, it's out of our imaginations.
Yeah, so I mainly used opera set designs from the 18th century, from the Berlin Opera, from Karl Friedrich Schinkel, He's the one who created the first iconic Queen of the Night image and things like that as a base. And then had an amazing set designer who actually worked on several Academy Awarded movies. And that's where we started creating that world. And then originally we actually wanted to shoot big parts of that film in Morocco because they have this amazing desert architecture there. But then, you know, COVID came and Morocco closed its borders. We had to build everything on stages. And that was a great thing. At the end, I realized, because we had total creative freedom and could actually build what we wanted. Not what we wanted, there were budgetary limits, of course. You know, at some point the producers came and said, no, that's too big. But in general, you know, we could design what we wanted. And that's rare.
Was there a favorite scene for you? I mean, I could tell you my favorite scene was the Queen of the Night. I replayed that over and over again just to watch. That's one of my favorite scenes.
That's actually my favorite scene as well. Mainly because it's so iconic, and I put really a lot of work in that scene because I wanted it to be, I mean, it's an honor to shoot visual material for music like that. And I knew that if I do it right, it might, you know, stay for a while and people will look at it. And so I really wanted to make it good and right. And I'm really happy that you say so, because I mean, it's such an iconic area. So it was, that's probably my favorite scene.
Most excellent. And one more thing before I let you go. Was the casting process difficult on a project like this? Because you have to mix, you know, how can you say, not seasonal actors, but more seasonal singers into a film, like this, right?
Yeah, it took quite a while. We had a great leading casting director in London, Sophie Holland, who has experience in movies. She did movies like Mulan, but she also did Wednesday and stuff like that. So, and it was a lot going back and forth and trying to balance it out between Academy Award winner, opera singer, young British cast, Game of Thrones veteran, things like that. And seeing, you know, making sure that the musical quality is there, but as well the acting quality. And then, yeah, it was quite a challenge. And then we also want to make sure that the cast is diverse. That was also one really important thing. And so that was actually one of the longest processes. So Jack was on board almost 1.5 years before we started shooting, because we knew he's the core of the whole film and we really have to have him, and that's what we built on. And then funny enough, F. Murray was there quite early, and then the rest joined.
Wow. Well, you created a fabulous, fantastical adventure and an opera on screen. This is a film definitely for multiple viewings, and it's going to be a favorite for people who love Mozart's The Magic Flute. Thank you very much for carrying this.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye now.